It is the heat of summer, and this is your reminder to harvest your herbs. Join me today at Planting Joy Gardens as we gather herbs. First up is sage. Technically, a herb is any plant you eat for flavor, and it comes from the leaves of the plant. And sage is the perfect example of a flavorful herb. Now, this plant has been growing beautifully. It has not flowered. Once sage flowers, the taste will change. So I'm going to do a hard prune. I can actually take half of this plant. Now this will be more sage than I actually need, so I do plan on sharing. Harvest my herbs. I like to come early in the morning. I snip it before the sun can just really beat down on the plant. And then I do a deep water after I've completed my harvest. Okay. And so what I've done so far is I took about a third of the plant. I probably could go further down, but this is pretty good here. I end up getting a full bowl of herbs. So what I'm gonna do is just bundle these real quickly, just so that I can get more into this container and not have to fight with it. I'll just put a little rubber band on this, and I will clean and process it when I get indoors. Now I can get to the rosemary, and this is something I have completely run out of. I ran out of rosemary, so I'm gonna take nice stalks here. I'm gonna cut this back. You know, rosemary and lavender look so much alike. So what I try to do is straighten it all out and give it a nice chop like this. And I truly love rosemary. And as I mentioned, it is best to harvest your herbs early morning. Early morning harvest is important, particularly with rosemary. When you harvest early morning, it's fully hydrated. The essential oils are in the leaves and stems, and that's why you collect your herbs. Also, by harvesting early morning, it gives the plant a chance to recover before the heat of the day. And you want to make sure that you give it a good drink, a solid soak of water after harvesting, particularly since we harvest our herbs late July and August. This is our container. This is the thyme here, and this is a traditional French thyme. Now it's just starting to flower, so I'm getting this at the right moment. Once it fully flowers, the flavor will change, but thyme is still delicious. And like I said, this is a traditional French thyme. And I'm going to leave some of these flowered pieces, particularly for the bees. So we're gonna just grab a handful here and just snip. Now, one thing you're not seeing because I'm filming is that I'm wiping my blades down between plants. So I have some alcohol pads here, and I'm just wiping it down between plants because I don't want to cross-contaminate anything. Now, I did have a problem with mealybugs that I've been fighting. Not so much with the herbs. I guess they just don't like herbs as much. So that would be one of the best reasons why you want to clean between plants, just in case you have some unwanted visitors. Now, I've been coming out daily to harvest chamomile, and what I do is when I harvest, I kind of tell myself one handful for me and one handful for the bees. I love thyme. I use it heavily. And I actually do 2 big harvests of thyme every year. I do the July entering August, and then I do another harvest maybe late September, October, because these plants will fully flush out again come September, October. You would never know that I pruned anything. So here's my wad of thyme. I don't bundle the thyme up because I really like to wash it because it's such tiny little leaves. So I just kind of leave it loose there. Now I'm going to gather some of this lavender for my teas. And I actually have lavender in two places. So the lavender in the tea garden, I think I will save that for the bees. Just as I allowed the bees to have half the chamomile, I let them have half the lavender. So I'm going to take some of these spears here. And to harvest, you kind of want to go down to the base. You do not want to lose any of these beautiful stalks here. I just gathered them up. Now, when you harvest, you do want some stems, but be careful not to cut too deeply. When you cut too deep, you may remove future growth. So you want to make sure you're cutting up on the stem and leaving the future buds in place so they can grow on. So you hear, if I cut here, there's 2 more flowers that will bloom from that area. So try not to cut so deeply. There's little hoverflies and bees in here, so I'm trying to be careful because I don't want to get stung and I don't want to scare them off either because this is their job and I'm kind of in the way right now. As you can see here. So I've taken off the top spears and I left these smaller ones to continue to grow. So I just kind of use my tomato clip to kind of hold it in place. For now, add it to my container. So here's the chives, and I'm going to do a very hard prune here. Here is the after, and I took 50% of the plant. Here's a picture of my yarrow before pruning. Here's the after on the yarrow. It's been 2 days since it has been pruned and it's just flushed out more flowers. I've been harvesting my chamomile on an ongoing basis, but I'm going to demonstrate how I harvest. This is one of the first things I do in the morning is I simply come along and pull the flowers up like this. So I'll insert some footage of the chamomile I've harvested earlier today, but I make a point of leaving some for the bees, so I never take 100% of my chamomile. So this is what we have now. Now here's my container chamomile before and my chamomile in this bed here in my herb bed. And this is my half of the harvest and the rest is for the bees. Now celery is considered a herb because I actually harvest my celery for the leaves. I truly love celery leaves. Given the choice between the leaves and the stalk, well, I prefer to harvest for the leaves. I dry them. They make the most amazing seasoning. I do use the stalks though. It's not my preferred choice, but what I'll do is I will blanch and freeze the stalks. And I'm just inspecting to see if I still have a problem with mealybugs. And I have used an alcohol spray. But the thing about mealybugs is you're never quite sure if you're looking at powdery mildew or if you're actually looking at the mealybugs. And so this has been sprayed, but they leave that powdery looking substance. Okay, I still see that there's some mealybug activity here. Now I also have noticed that I have katydids and I have walking sticks. And I'm hoping that the katydids and the walking stick will address my mealybug problem. Now here's another reason for harvesting your herbs at this time. I see that I still have a mealybug problem. I have sprayed this with alcohol, but you can see that they're still quite active under the leaves. So I will be disposing of this in the municipal garbage. Mealybugs are so hard to control. Now I do have, oh, what a waste. I do have, now I could use this. All I just had to do is spray it with isopropyl alcohol, 70%. It kills them on contact, it kills their larvae, it sanitizes the plant. So this is a good reason why you should be harvesting now. Don't wait to the end. If you have an insect problem, you want to deal with it early in the season, this gives me an opportunity to cut back my celery and start over from scratch. So this area, my celery will be treated with some isopropyl alcohol. I'm going to treat this area right here. Now you really don't want to do this in the heat of the day, but when it comes to mealybugs, you have to be very aggressive. The advantage of using alcohol is that it dries immediately. Even here, I'm on a surface, and I'm going to treat this here. So even if you dispose of it, don't just simply dispose of it. I recommend actually treating it before you put it in your trash, because these mealybugs will jump and they lay so many eggs. And because it's an alcohol treatment, they die on contact. Then I think it's safe, because they are literally trying to get away. They say that neem oil is just as effective, but you just want them all gone. So I'm using a lot of alcohol here, and I've already harvested the plant, so it's not like I'm causing toxicity to my soil, because I'm no longer in my garden bed. I mean, it seems like an extra step for a plant you're going to dispose of, but it protects your garden. You absolutely would never put this in a compost pile. Just want to make sure everything is super saturated. Don't want any eggs laying around. I'm just trying to drown everything. Okay, you can see all the dead mealybugs on the surfaces here. So we just want to make sure that there's no one still alive. So this is what my herb bed looks like. Everything has been brought down to size. It's been cut back pretty hard, except for that lemon thyme. I'm going to leave those flowers for the bees. And I have plenty of lemon thyme. I always grow more than I can use. So everything has been cut back and will grow out so that I can harvest again come late summer, early fall. So now we're going to head over and get some oregano. Now I do have some additional herbs, but I'm leaving these for the bees. Some more chamomile, some more lavender. This is specifically for the bees. And I also have some lemon balm. So now oregano is another herb you want to harvest before it flowers, because the taste will change. So we're just going to take some of this, and it's just getting ready to flower. So at this point it's at peak flavor, and you can just kind of indiscriminately cut oregano as though you're doing a haircut. It's pretty much like thyme. Every node is a growing node. Oregano can root along its stem. So you notice I'm using a totally different pair of shears, which makes perfect sense because you don't want to bring mealybugs on this side of the garden. And I kind of trim my oregano just to keep it under control and keep it in the pot. I do not want it to, like mint, touch the ground and just take off. So we just want to kind of keep it confined to the pot here. I'm just going to bundle up my oregano here in a clip, a tomato clip, just like this. I also will be harvesting out this mint here. It looks amazing. And this is chocolate mint. This will be the base of many of the teas. will add it in. As you can see, the sun is coming in and my herbs are starting to wilt. So this is what we collected today. We got some sage, some thyme, some oregano, rosemary, lavender. Now, if anything was helpful today, hit that like button. Consider subscribing. I welcome your comments. And don't forget, get out and harvest those herbs. Do a hard prune. Thank you for watching and have an amazing day.